Hello everyone, welcome to Gavaskar Info. In this video we are going to talk about another interesting series history of Border-Gavaskar Trophy. Are you excited guys? Before start the video, if anyone watch my channel without subscribe, please subscribe. Let's move to video. The Border-Gavaskar Trophy is a test cricket series played between India and Australia. It is played via the International Cricket Council's Future Tours. As of January 2021, India holds the trophy after defeating Australia in 2020-21 by 2-1, with one drawn match. If a series is drawn, the country holding the trophy retains it. The series is named after distinguished former captains, Australia's Allan and India's Sunil Gavaskar. In competition for the trophy since 1996, Indian Sachin Tendulkar has been the most successful batsman, scoring 3,262 runs from 65 innings. Indian bowler Anil Kumble is the most successful bowler, taking 111 wickets over 20 matches at an average of 30.32. Background: before the Border-Gavaskar Trophy, India and Australia had played each other 50 times in tests in a 49-year period from 1947 to 1996. Australia was the first country India toured soon after their independence. However, during the period, the tours between both the countries were not fixed like the Ashes, with both countries often touring each other after more than 15 years. Series summary: cricketing contests between the two nations have always been of high intensity. The importance of the series is also fueled by Australia's desire to beat India in a test match series, which, until their victory in the 2004 A05 series, they had not done so since 1969 A70. India has developed a reputation of being particularly difficult to beat at home, having lost only 2 test series since 1986 A87. Conversely, India had never managed to win a test series in Australia until 2018 A19 series, after which they continued their winning streak in the 2020-21 series, thereby retaining the trophy for 2 editions outside home. The competitiveness of the series played between the two sides is also reflected in the fact that in both 2000 A01 and 2007 A08, it was India who ended Australia's runs of 16 consecutive Test wins. Matches in India are commonly described with labels like Final Frontier or Iconic Event. The Test series held in India in 2000 A01 was labelled the Final Frontier by Steve Waugh, and it lived up to its reputation. It had the closest result in decades, with India overpowering the mighty Australians in the final session of the final Test at Chennai. The series also gave the cricketing world 3 champion cricketers in Hayden, Harbhajan and Laxman, who were relatively unknown or underperforming till then. They were the cornerstones of the series, and the duels between Laxman Australian bowlers on the one hand and Harbhajan Hayden on the other are often termed the most engrossing player rivalries in a test series of cricket. The series was played in the backdrop of the death of legendary Sir Donald Bradman, who was quoted as saying that he was very much looking forward to the series and had high expectations of both the teams. The competitiveness of series played under the trophy is illustrated by the approximately equal number of test wins each side has achieved. 1996 A97 one-off test. The 1996 A97 one-off test was the first to be played under the Border-Gavaskar Trophy. This was also Sachin Tendulkar's first series as captain. The series consisted of just one match, played at the Firoz Shah Kotla ground in Delhi. Australia won the toss and elected to bat. The match, played from 10 to October 14, 1996, lasted just over 4 days, as India defeated Australia by 7 wickets. Australia won the toss and elected to bat, but the Indian spinners, led by Anil Kumble, bowled them out for 182. Michael Slater top-scored with 44 runs. In reply, India scored 361, riding on Nayan Mongnia's career-best 152. In Australia's second innings, Steve Waugh scored 67 to get his team to 234. This left India with 56 to get in the 4th innings, which they did for the loss of 3 wickets. 1997 A98 series. The Australian cricket team headed over to India in February and March 1998 looking to get their first win in India since the 1969 A70 tour. The first test in Chennai saw Sachin Tendulkar scoring 155 from 191 balls to give India the win by 179 runs, with Australia crumbling under the spin trio of Anil Kumble, Venkatapati Raju and Rajesh Chauhan as they got out on 168.7. The second test at Kolkata saw another dominating performance from one of the Indian batsmen, with Mohammad Azharuddin 163 runs in India's only innings as India won the test match by an innings and keeping the Border-Gavaskar Trophy in India. The final test at Bangalore saw Sachin Tendulkar get his second 100 of the series. In response, Mark Waugh got the Australians' first century of the series with 153. Australia, with the help of Mark Taylor's century, would chase down the 194 runs that India set for them as they got the consolation win from the series to end the series at 2-1 in favour of India. At the end of the tour, Shane Warne famously said that he would be having nightmares of Tendulkar hitting him for sixes and that only Bradman was in his class. 1999 A2000 series. Heading into the first edition of the Border-Gavaskar Trophy, it was predicted to see an Australian win based on the back of the 3-0 series win at home against Pakistan. In the first test at Adelaide, Australia got the win based from a first-innings century from captain Steve Waugh, while Damien Fleming's 5-wicket haul in the second innings saw the collapse of India, who was bowled for 110 runs to give Australia a 285-run win. Australia would take home the second test in Melbourne by 180 runs despite Tendulkar's century in the first innings. This test also saw the debut of Australian bowler Brett Lee, who would go on to reach 72 test caps for Australia. The final test in Sydney saw another Australia win, this time by an innings and 141 runs. This was done with centuries from Justin Langer, 223, and Ricky Ponting, 141, as Australia scored 552 in their only innings. Despite an effort from V.S. Laxman, who scored 167 runs from 198 balls in the second innings, the damage was done in the first innings, with India being bowled out for 150, with Glenn McGraw leading the charge as he got 10 wickets for the match.